Hi everyone, my name is Adam from Trade with Precision and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. So I'm going to run through all of the different asset classes, starting off here with euro dollar with the within the currency markets, and let's have a look. So first of all, we are in the downtrend producing lower highs, but if we look for context and we zoom out, you will see that we're actually within a downtrend on the weekly. We've got lower highs and lower lows, so the downtrend is still intact. But then if we zoom out even further, we look at the monthly. Here we actually have a sideways range. The market is ranging and potentially working its way up to the top of the range. So we have very much no clear direction on the market in terms of medium term, longer term, and shorter term. However, I guess for the purposes of today, just look at what the expectation is for the next few days. I would expect it to come up to test resistance and then most likely attempt to head lower by the end of the week. Moving on and having a look at sterling. Again, sterling is also stuck within a range, tightening for sure, battling with strong resistance there as well, but also continuing to push up a little bit higher. There you can see a strong level of resistance, but it continues to test that resistance, and it's not entirely outside of the realm of possibility that it will push higher this week. We've got gold. So what's interesting is that gold did produce some bearish divergence. It did come back down within this range. It's found some really nice bullish support at the bottom of this range, and now the next most likely move for gold is going to be to the upside. Crude oil, which has now broken this downtrend. This is quite significant. It was just really battling over here, and there's what we call a gramophone pattern where it gets wider, it's getting higher highs and lower lows. It broke out of that. It swung all the way back up. So again, interestingly enough, when you look at it on a high enough time frame, it is doing a very similar type. It has a lack of overall direction. It's producing higher lows. It's forming a triangular pattern, which basically means the pressure is building up, and it's likely to break out at some point. So the shorter term for me is most likely to the upside here, expecting oil to work its way higher during the coming days. And then having a look at the global indices. So global indices are producing high lows at the moment. I'm relatively happy with that. The markets are still quite bullish, and they are producing high lows. So I expect the pressure to be more to the upside than to the downside. This is on the Dow. If we have a look at the S&P, it is just beautiful. In terms of the quality of this trend, it is very nice. It is very stable. It's starting to become a little bit overextended on the daily. Any kind of pullbacks on the daily time frame for me would represent potential buying opportunities, but overall the strength and the health of this is beautiful. It really is historically really good, and the same when we have a look at the NASDAQ, also looking really good. Even for day traders, this, you can see the quality of this. We often get a consolidation while America is asleep, and then when they wake up, the market starts to move, and then a consolidation, the market starts to move. We've currently got a consolidation. In this case, it's most likely going to take off to the upside. So again, the strength of that. It has started to slow down a little bit on the daily here. So again, any pullbacks here on the daily for me would represent potential buying opportunities. Overall, the bull market is nice and strong and healthy. So if we have a look here at the excuse me, at the FTSE in the UK, so what I'm looking for, this is a weekly chart. The reason I'm looking for this is we have a retracement back into the moving averages. I'm looking for a bullish candle to form this week because I'm looking for this to continue heading higher next week. And so my focus really is what it's going to be doing during this week. However, not convinced just yet that there might not be any real opportunities. I'll be looking for that 4 hour to shift into an uptrend by the end of the week, and then looking for that to continue to the upside. Similar with the DAX as well. This is a little bit of a funny formation here, this pattern, but it's a nice correction. It's coming back into the lows. If I get a nice bullish candle this week, I'll be looking for the same thing next week, a break of the high of that candle and a continuation to the upside. Overall, again, also looking relatively nice. When we compare this and have a look at the Aussie index, what happens here is that there's more of a consolidation. Again, pressure building up. Which way is it ultimately more likely to go? Statistically, it's more likely to break out to the upside, but I'm not really seeing anything tradable at this time. Tesla is testing the upper limits of resistance. We'll see if it works its way back up to test that 200 level, but it really hasn't done anything for several weeks now. If we look at this, almost 2 months where it's really gone sideways, even though it is pushing up to the highs now. We'll see if it ultimately does that. If we get another rejection at the end of the week and potentially it pushes back down to the lows, we'll see. Currently, the trend is still stuck between old highs and lows and is still more bearish than bullish. You've got the 50, the 20, and the 10, which is a bearish formation. So there's slightly more bearish sentiment than bullish sentiment. Nvidia, again, very similar to that S&P and the NASDAQ as well, just continuing to push higher. Overall, looking relatively nice and healthy. Yes, one of my main concerns, if you look at it from a monthly perspective, it has gone parabolic. And parabolic trends never end well. But the thing is, this could likely continue for some time. The chart for me really to watch is going to be the weekly chart. The weekly chart will be the first canary in the coal mine, or the most important canary in the coal mine, which is if price ultimately does start to fail up here, that's where it will show itself long before we see it on the monthly. So at some point, it is overextended. I do expect to see it take a bit of a breather, but it's not showing any signs of that yet. I would need to see multiple attempts that would start to stall unless there was some kind of a massive market reaction which caused a big move straight down, which is very rare. The most likely is that it would continue up until it would start to stumble and fall, and there's no sign of that yet. So basically this week I'm looking for any continuations to the upside. I would see that as bullish signals. Excuse me here. Amazon as well, doing a bit of a consolidation similar to gold. Still expecting this to just take a bit of a breather before continuing to the upside, but not seeing anything immediately attractive. And then finally, let's just wrap it up on cryptos. So again, very similar behavior here to what we've just seen on Amazon, to what we've seen on the Dow, and what we've seen on gold. We've got a bit of a range-like behavior here. Again, I'm looking for bullish candles here to signal that it's likely to form a swing low and then work its way back up to the top. But overall, I see this more as a consolidation than any kind of exhaustion settling in. I see it taking a bit of a breather now before ultimately continuing higher at this time. There's no real red flags here, just that the market is really just taking a breather. And that's all. I'm going to leave you with that. I want you to obviously trade safely and manage your risk appropriately. Thank you very much.